Do most companies see self-service documentation as cost-cutting move or as a way to genuinely support customers 24/7?
Every time somebody can help themselves, they don't have to submit a ticket, which is better for everybody. It saves us money and it saves them time and frustration. Nobody, as a customer, nobody wants to get stuck and have to submit a ticket. They would rather solve it themselves.
Yeah. So it's a combination of both. At what point in the customer journey does documentation matter the most?
Oh man, can I say all of them? The goal for documentation is to always show them the answers without making them have to stop and search. I think the best documentation is integrated with the product.
Then how do you measure the impact of documentation on customer success?
We can track things like rage clicks and going in circles, not being productive. And those we count as documentation failures where, if somebody is searching and can't find what they're trying to do, what can we do with UI? What can we do with documentation? What can we do with suggested helps that can better track where people are going?
How can AI-powered documentation improve customer experience?
Oh, so much. We have already, throughout the history of technical writing, seen how documentation has changed. In today's world, we have the ability to meet clients where they are, to give them an AI virtual agent who can answer their questions in a conversational way. So they don't have to leave the product, open up a second web window to look through the HTML. The HTML is still super important. That's what the AI is being trained on. And that's what the reference is when they say, thank you, AI, for that help. Now I want to see more info. They'll still go to the HTML.
Welcome to the Knowledgebase Ninjas podcast, where Gauri Ramkumar of Document 360 finds the best SaaS self-service knowledge bases in the world and then interviews their creators. Let's get started with today's episode.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Knowledgebase Ninjas podcast. And with me today, I have Rachel Johnson, Senior Technical Writer at Ripple. Hi, Rachel. How are you doing?
Hi, Gary. Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. And thank you so much for accepting to be a guest in this series. And very excited, as always, to hear a lot about your story. Before we dive into anything, just take us through your whole journey of where it started, who motivated you, and how are you enjoying so far?
Okay. I think, like most people in technical writing, I didn't start out planning to be a technical writer. I actually went to school for health administration. And after I graduated, while I was looking for a job, I decided to get a supplemental part-time gig to help pay the bills in the meantime. And I ran into a posting for a contract position as a copywriter. And it was really after I started that and started quickly moving through the contract positions that they have available, became an editor with them. I decided, this could be what I do for my career. So I was with them for about a year and a half before I got my first full-time technical writer job. And I have never looked back. It's been a great career for me.
Great. 13 years is not a joke, right? So you must have seen a lot of changes in this field.
Yes, I have. And I've learned a ton.
Great. So in your view, Rachel, at what point in the customer journey does documentation matter the most? Is it in the onboarding, or is it in the adoption, or is it for retention?
Oh man, can I say all of them? We use documentation in every step of the way. I know some companies struggle to consider documentation and things go out and then documentation's an afterthought. I have worked for companies like that and pushed to get documentation more recognized. I'm lucky now that I work for a company that recognizes it as a vital part of our product. So when we're onboarding people, onboarding goes so much faster when you can walk them through everything that they're going to need to know using written documentation and videos and trainings and kind of give them a path of, for your role using this product, this is the best way for you to get started. We also use the documentation to reach out to people who used to be strong users and are tapering off to say, you know, what next task could we help you with in your role? And for retention, just making it really easy. The goal for documentation is to always show them the answers without making them have to stop and search. I think the best documentation is integrated with the product.
Very true. And what we also have observed is the documentation team getting involved not at the end of the feature release, but when the feature is being planned, right? So do you see that change in
Yes.
your organization as well?
Absolutely. It's night and day different. In my current organization, they keep us in the loop for planned next product releases. So we're in on the ground level, helping design it, giving feedback, and documenting as the process rolls out. When it doesn't happen that way, which I have experienced, it's always on the back end trying to hurry to throw it together because this has already been delivered to the client.
Correct.
And the quality of what they get and how integrated they get is very different. And companies that have been able to see that documentation needs to be a part of the product, they get a very different product, a much more high quality integrated experience.
Great. Now, I can't stop asking this question. I think it's become like a must-have question in many of my podcasts. How can AI-powered documentation improve customer experience?
Oh, so much. We have already, throughout the history of technical writing, seen how documentation has changed. You know, you go back to the early days of typing things on a typewriter and delivering a manual. And that worked for that time period. But as technology improved, we said, hey, we don't need to send you a manual in the mail. Let's give you this digital experience. And that was great for that time. In today's world, we have the ability to meet clients where they are, to give them an AI virtual agent who can answer their questions in a conversational way. So they don't have to leave the product, open up a second web window to look through the HTML. The HTML is still super important. That's what the AI is being trained on. And that's what the reference is when they say, thank you, AI, for that help. Now I want to see more info. They'll still go to the HTML. But giving them the conversational ability to get their questions answered gives them a better experience.
Very true, very true. Now, we spoke about the benefits of having an AI-powered documentation, but at the same time, what common gaps do you see in the documentation that could negatively impact a customer becoming a successful customer?
I think the biggest gap that I see is just slow adoption of the latest tools. I think every company is in a different spot with how much they embrace or are afraid of AI. If the AI experience is fully integrated and you don't have to leave the product that you're in to ask questions and get help, I think we're really closing those gaps. I'm sure give it 50 years and they'll come up with some huge, even better way. But in the meantime, I think we're doing a great job closing that gap. Right now, I think the biggest gap is for companies who are too afraid of AI, and so they shy away from using it.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Then how do you measure the impact of documentation on customer success? Like what common metrics do you keep track of?
A few. So we want to see, are the documents being used? Are the questions clients are asking being answered? And are they being answered correctly? We frequently go back through to make sure the AI is not hallucinating. With the high quality documentation, it happens less, but we still want to make sure everything is being answered correctly. We also want to see, are they successful in using the product? We can track things like rage clicks and going in circles, not being productive. And those we count as documentation failures where, you know, if somebody is searching and can't find what they're trying to do, what can we do with UI? What can we do with documentation? What can we do with suggested helps that can better track where people are going? And then, of course, the NPI scores as clients tell us how their experience is going, any feedback they give us, we always appreciate those. But I find those are less common than being able to track what's going on in real time.
Great. This is a very interesting question, and I thought you're the best person to ask. Do most companies see self-service documentation as cost-cutting move or as a way to genuinely support customers 24/7?
My current company really focuses on giving customers the support that they need. And so I think the most emphasis is there, but at the same time, it is fully recognized this is a cost saving thing. Every time somebody can help themselves, they don't have to submit a ticket, which is better for everybody. It saves us money and it saves them time and frustration. Nobody, as a customer, nobody wants to get stuck and have to submit a ticket. They
Yeah.
would rather solve it themselves.
Yeah. So it's a combination of both is what you're
Yes.
experiencing currently.
Yes.
Great. And we spoke about some of the metrics you track, and you did mention that you take the NPS survey and the feedback from customers very seriously. Are there any particular kind of feedback you look out for from the customers in order to shape your own documentation?
Most of the feedback when we get it is the little thumbs up, thumbs down icon, which really does not tell you much. When you get a thumbs down, we edit or we review that to see if we can find a place to improve it, but that doesn't give us much. When somebody actually does submit a ticket and the person, the customer success person helping them with their ticket sends them the documentation, if they have any remaining questions, those are gold feedback moments because we can say, obviously, this didn't fully answer their question. How can we improve it? So that's, I think, where we get a lot of our feedback. We do also get sometimes customers just reach out or actually do fill in. Everybody has the option to fill in comments. They just rarely do. Or fill in the comments to say, it could be anything from, hey, we actually found a typo, or there's this additional question that wasn't answered for us. So any of that feedback, we take that as gold and we try to fix that immediately.
Very nice, very nice.
We figure if one customer says it, 20 others were thinking it.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, what we also experience is, though many customers might just not bother give a feedback, we take it as one feedback is 1,000 customers' voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super. Now going on to the rapid fire round questions, Rachel. So what kind of valuable resources you would recommend to us? Anything in particular to documentation?
Yeah. For conferences, I've enjoyed the Write the Docs conference and LavaCon. For blogs, I followed Tom Johnson's I'd Rather Be Writing. It's a valuable blog. He's got a lot of resources and ideas there. Podcasts, I follow yours, of course, and also Grammar Girl. That Grammar Girl is less about the construct of writing and more just the history of words and interesting things that I find fascinating.
Very nice. Yeah, I keep hearing Tom Johnson's name in most of my episodes, and nice to know that you also follow him up for the documentation resources. Now, one word that comes to your mind when you hear documentation.
Enablement.
Great. I'm not going to ask for anything more. A piece of advice you would give to your 20-year-old self.
So my 20-year-old self was not in documentation yet, but I would say anybody starting out in their technical writing journey, every year learn at least one new tool or process, never get stagnated.
Keep learning.
Yes.
Great. Now, Rachel, it's very hard to condense your 13 years of experience into 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I hope I've done justice to your experience. But anything else you would like to add to the audience today?
Just one last thought on AI. I think the need for documentation is never going to go away. The means of consuming it changes, but it's always going to be important. And the writers who embrace AI as a tool that's going to help them deliver more and higher quality are going to be sticking around. I think it's the writers who are afraid of it and try to force AI out of the picture to say, I'm still important, don't steal my job. Those are the ones who are going to find self-fulfilling prophecy that they're not needed anymore when they won't work with this new tool.
True, very true. So embrace the change.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So all I can do is wish you all the very best in the upcoming projects and many more to come. And let's stay in touch and take care, Rachel. Thank you very much for being part of this journey.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Knowledgebase Ninjas podcast. Please head to iTunes, rate, and provide honest feedback on the podcast. See you next week.